I've been gone for a minute. And since I've been gone, I guess it's a who feel like he can come and take my crown.
And Tip is pretty hot-headed and he could be over the top sometimes, but at that point, Lil Flip had kind of like went out of bounds, you know, talking about his kids, and the things that he was saying was just way out of line, talking about killing some kids.
T.I. versus Lil Flip was a southern rap beef sparked by who was the real king of the South. What started as a war of words in the early 2000s exploded into a full-blown street rap battle involving crews and the media.
Tip, as we all know, he starts calling himself King of the South.
Yeah.
At that time, it's a whole lot of dope artists blowing up in the South. So that's a bold statement when you surrounded by a bunch of dudes who's killing the game. But one artist in particular, Lil Flip, he took issue with that.
How did a simple claim to the King of the South title spark threats, fistfights, and firearms?
I believe it went beyond records. I know Tip went down to Houston at one point to Flip's neighborhood in Cloverfield, and an actual fight broke out.
And why did T.Y. drive solo into Flip's Houston neighborhood looking for answers, or was it revenge? Let's break down one of hip-hop's most unexpected and explosive rivalries. In the early 2000s, Southern hip-hop was exploding, shifting from a regional movement to a national powerhouse. Houston and Atlanta were quickly emerging as the new rap capitals, each fueling a wave of fresh sounds and stars. At the heart of this rise were two rappers representing their cities with pride and ambition. T1 from Bankhead, Atlanta, and Lil Flip from Cloverland, Houston.
Cashing out of fashion, not flashing, picture me doing bad even if I wasn't rap.
T.I.'s journey was marked by struggle. Long before his rap career took off, he was known on the streets of Atlanta. His 2001 debut, I'm Serious, didn't make a huge splash, but it caught attention. It wasn't until trap music dropped in 2003 that the world began to recognize him, and many started calling him the King of the South. But this bold claim would ignite tension. Meanwhile, Lil Flip was already a well-established figure in Southern rap. With hits like The Way We Ball and Sunshine, he had earned the title the Freestyle King in Texas, gaining a loyal following thanks to his mixtapes and flashy style. Flip wasn't just a street rapper, he was confident, charismatic, and backed by the Houston streets.
Hey man, how do you feel about me calling myself the King of the South, just out of respect?
So when T.Y. crowned himself King of the South, it wasn't taken lightly, especially in Houston.
0. Kings of the South.
Correct.
Was that something you guys had to do? Because
at the time, it was a hostile environment, you know what I'm saying? You know, they call us that as well, you know what I'm saying? And we also call DJ Screw the King of the South, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at the time, we just had to.
As Flip explained in interviews on Vlad TV and in archived XXL magazine features, it was clear he felt disrespected. He didn't come out and say my name, Flip said later, but when you say you're the King of the South, that means everybody else is beneath you. We ain't going for that in Houston. This wasn't just a clash of egos. It was a collision course between two rising kings, each determined to hold their crown. The early sparks of the feud were subtle. Quiet jabs thrown during interviews and sprinkled across mixtapes. But in hip-hop, tensions rarely stay low for long. By 2003, things were heating up fast. That year, T.Y. was sentenced to a brief prison stint for violating probation, putting his career on hold just as he was gaining serious momentum. During his absence, Lil Flip seized the moment. From Houston, Flip became increasingly vocal, openly mocking T.I.'s King of the South claim. To Flip, it was little more than marketing talk, a hollow title used for hype rather than true respect. Many fans and insiders believe Flip saw T.I.'s prison time as a chance to strengthen his own hold over the southern rap scene, particularly in Texas. Houston was Flip's territory, and with T.I. out of the picture, Flip aimed to assert dominance. When T.Y. was released, he wasted no time. Back in Atlanta, he hit the studio and dropped the mixtape Down with the King, a direct counterattack loaded with sharp disses aimed squarely at Flip. Tracks on the mixtape made it clear, T.I. wasn't just back, he was coming for his crown. I'm the king, you the jester, Tip rapped on one track, igniting a feud that quickly escalated beyond music. The battle wasn't just about who dropped the hottest verses. Fans on Reddit and hip-hop forums saw it as a fight for control both in the rap game and on the streets. It was a matter of ego and territory, wrote a user on Reddit. They were fighting for dominance in the game, and the streets knew it. One thing was noticeable. As the stakes grew higher, so did the intensity of their exchanges, setting the stage for a battle that would be remembered as one of Southern hip-hop's most explosive. This is where the feud took a wild and dangerous turn. In 2004, T.I. did something no one saw coming. He traveled alone from Atlanta to Houston, straight into Cloverland Park, the heart of Lil Flip's hometown turf, with a camera crew in tow. This wasn't for a music video or a promo shoot. T.I. was there to confront Flip face to face, sending a clear message. This beef was about more than just rap. It was about pride, respect, and street credibility. Why Cloverland? For those unfamiliar, Cloverland Park is deep in South Houston, a neighborhood closely tied to Lil Flip's roots and influence. By showing up there, T.I. was stepping right into Flip's backyard, essentially challenging him on his own ground. The timing was critical. T.I. had just reasserted himself in the rap game after his brief legal troubles, and this bold move was seen by many as a statement. He wasn't just an artist making claims from afar. He was willing to back up his words in person. But the situation quickly escalated beyond words. Video footage of the confrontation surfaced later, showing T.I. surrounded by a group of locals who were clearly hostile to his presence. According to T.Y., the odds were heavily against him. He was outnumbered, 30-3, he recalled in an interview. Despite the overwhelming numbers, T.I. stood his ground, refusing to back down.
When they finally pulled up, they exchanged a few words and shit. They was kind of distant, like they never came, walk actually up on us, you know what I'm saying?
During the tense encounter, a man claiming to be part of Lil Flip's camp confronted T.I., pushing him verbally and nearly sparking a physical fight. Though no shots were fired, multiple eyewitness accounts and online discussions claim firearms were present nearby, and the situation almost exploded into violence. Why would T.I. take such a risky move? Some believe this was a calculated attempt by T.Y. to prove he wasn't just a rapper but a true street soldier, someone unafraid to walk into enemy territory to defend his crown. Others see it as a strategic provocation, designed to bait Flip into a public showdown and cement T.Y.'s image as the undisputed king of the South. In essence, this could be viewed as a deliberate trap king moment, taking control of the narrative and showing that fear had no place in his reign. Whatever the motive, the stunt worked. The hip-hop community in the streets started seeing T1 as more than just an artist with a bold claim. He was someone who would back it up, no matter the risk. But with tensions now spilling over from music into real-life confrontation, the beef had crossed a dangerous line. What started as a rivalry over titles and respect was turning into a battle with serious stakes where pride, power, and survival were on the line.
It's cause I caught myself the king of the South, and even worse than every verse they know I'm caught.
After the Cloverland Incident, the beef between T1 and Lil Flip exploded into the public eye, turning from underground tension into full-blown warfare through music and street rumors.
The one, I got 99 problems, Lil Flip ain't one.
T.I. struck first with hard-hitting diss tracks like "There's 99 Problems," "Lil Flip Ain't One," and "You Don't Know Me." Lil Flip responded swiftly with his own fiery record, King of Da South, where he took aim at T.Y.'s arrest history and questioned his street credibility, mocking him as less gangster than he claimed. Both rappers hit the radio circuit hard, giving interviews loaded with subliminal shots, freestyling on air, and stoking the flames. One unforgettable moment happened during a live radio interview with Flip, who abruptly broke into freestyle, calling T.I. a miniature version of 50 Cent with none of the power. A sharp jab that sent shockwaves through the South. The streets and fans were paying close attention. Online forums and social media buzzed with speculation that Flip's crew was trying to catch T1 off guard, and vice versa. The tension felt very real. A viral YouTube clip from that era titled "T.I. was trying to murder Lil Flip" captured fans recounting stories of near shootouts between the two entourages. While nothing was ever officially confirmed, rumors spread quickly. One fan commented, "T.I. wanted Flip gone. That's how serious it got. Flip couldn't even do shows in Atlanta after that." Another Reddit user wrote, "That beef had real tension. People were riding around looking for each other in both cities. It wasn't studio beef. This wasn't just music rivalry. It was a battle for dominance that spilled into the streets, with real-world consequences hanging in the balance." In 2005, in a move straight out of a mob movie, T.Y. and his crew, the Pimp Squad Clique, PSC, held a press conference that shocked the hip-hop world. They brought out a man who claimed to be Lil Flip's former bodyguard, and what he said rocked Flip's reputation to its core. The man alleged that Lil Flip wasn't the real deal. According to him, Flip had fabricated stories about being shot and exaggerated his street credibility. He painted Flip as a fraud, someone who had built his image on lies.
Yeah. And you know, I took offense to that. And so all of my time, effort, and energy was spent on plotting, planning, strategizing on how to answer that, you know, how to answer that disrespect.
TY and PSC used this press conference to systematically dismantle Flip's credibility in front of fans and the media, turning the narrative in their favor. Many hip-hop insiders believe this was the turning point when the public began to turn against Flip. His subsequent album underperformed, while T1 soared in mainstream popularity and respect. Though Flip vehemently denied the allegations and branded the man a liar, the damage was already done. The internet quickly picked up on the story, turning Flip into flop in memes, jokes, and forum posts mocking his downfall. One fan summed it up perfectly. "I pulled the ultimate chess move. He didn't just diss Flip, he dismantled his whole image." This press conference wasn't just about insults. It was a strategic blow that shifted the power balance in the South's rap game.
Both of them kind of played parts in it that didn't go right. Flip kind of jumped into a lane and went to going back, and I think T.I. was trying to befriend him or something, and it kind of went the wrong way. And Flip kind of went gangster with it.
Did someone set Flip up? This is where the story gets murky and the rumors start swirling. On the surface, the Cloverland incident looks spontaneous. T.I. pulled up in Flip's hood with a camcorder and a crew, looking to expose him. But many fans believe it wasn't as real as it seemed. Some suggest Tip had a mole inside Flip's camp, someone who tipped him off when Flip wouldn't be around. Flip wasn't there. No real confrontation happened. T.I. got his footage and bounced. That feels too clean, a Reddit user speculated. The theory? T.I. was given the green light to show up unchallenged enough to make him look bold without real danger, almost like a carefully staged PR move to shift the narrative. Even some of T.I.'s own fans admit the way he walked into enemy territory and left untouched was unusual. But there's another angle. By then, Flip may have already been pulling back from the streets. He'd tasted commercial success. He had more to lose. Why get dragged into a reckless brawl on camera? Flip was smarter than people gave him credit for, one Houston artist said. He saw where it was going and stepped away. Still, the optics didn't favor him. While T.Y. looked like a fearless warrior, Flip's absence led some to label him as ducking the smoke.
When they came out with that mixtape with T.I. them and Scarface them and everybody, you know, and they kind of like try to gang up on Lil Bro. Yeah. That's when we kind of came in because Flip them reached out to us because he wanted to mess with Hump no more.
Others believe local OGs made a call to keep things calm, protecting both artists from something irreversible. Some even speculate industry figures wanted Flip to lose momentum, paving the way for T.Y.'s rise. There's no full footage, no police report, no clear answers, just speculation, interviews, and street whispers that won't die. Was it a setup, a lucky flex, or the final act in a silent power play? No one knows for sure. In the end, the public's verdict was clear. T.I. rose to superstardom, selling millions of records, starring in films like ATL, and even serving a brief prison sentence that only cemented his street king reputation. His dominance in both music and pop culture made him a household name far beyond the South.
I just think the gangster approach that he took, it kind of backfired, I guess, because we didn't look at him in that kind of light.
Meanwhile, Lil Flip's career cooled significantly, though he continued releasing albums, doing interviews, and staying active in the underground scene. He never regained the commercial success or mainstream buzz he had in the early 2000s. In recent years, Flip has claimed the industry blackballed him after the beef with T.Y. "People didn't want to work with me," he said. "Labels stopped calling. It was like the game turned its back." Whether that's fully true or not, one thing is undeniable. T.I. controlled the narrative. He boldly walked into Flip's territory, challenged him head-on, and then systematically dismantled his street reputation through a press conference and hard-hitting diss tracks. Even if it wasn't the murder some online rumors suggested, the beef left Lil Flip's rap career in critical condition and cemented T.Y.'s place as the undisputed king of the South. In 2019, over a decade after the dust had settled, Lil Flip appeared on a Texas-based radio show to promote one of his independent projects. The host couldn't resist bringing up the infamous beef with T1, something Flip rarely addressed in depth anymore.
I feel like it was a misunderstanding. Even though it's water under the bridge now, we cool. but it was said that I said something at a show which wasn't true. And it just spiraled into unnecessary dumb.
To the surprise of many, Flip's tone was measured, even mature. "I don't hold no grudges," he said calmly. "That was over 10 years ago, man. I'm focused on business now. I still tour. I still do my shows. I still got love out here." He went on to mention that the industry has evolved and so had he. Flip highlighted how he had transitioned into entrepreneurship, launching a liquor brand, releasing indie albums, and even venturing into real estate and cryptocurrency. His message was clear. He wasn't stuck in the past. But the calmness in his voice also hinted at something deeper, a sense of closure perhaps, but also a subtle pain. The unspoken reality was that while Flip never fully disappeared, he never quite bounced back to his early 2000s prominence. Whether by industry politics, street affiliations, or public perception, his trajectory shifted dramatically after the TY feud. Meanwhile, in a 2020 appearance on his Expeditiously podcast, T.I. addressed the topic of past beefs, including the one with Flip. With the benefit of hindsight and age, Tip sounded like a man who'd long moved on. "That was young man stuff," he said. "We both grew from it. At the time, I felt like I had to defend my name. But now, I got bigger things to worry about: kids, legacy, generational wealth." It was the type of reflection you'd expect from someone who had seen it all: trials, awards, jail time, chart-topping albums, and fatherhood. Ty didn't go into detail about Cloverland, the diss tracks, or the street-level politics behind the beef, but he made it clear he didn't see Flip as an enemy anymore. Still, for many fans, the beef never really felt resolved, just paused. There was no dramatic reunion, no collaborative track, no handshake photo op. Just a quiet disengagement, like two titans who'd done their damage and walked away to tend to their own kingdoms. But the culture doesn't forget that easily. That shaky Cloverland camcorder footage still circulates on YouTube and World Star Hip Hop. It gets reposted every few years on Twitter and Instagram, usually with the caption, "T.I. pulled up on Flip in his own hood. Legendary or stupid?" The diss tracks, 99 Problems, King of Day South, You Don't Know Me, still slap in barbershops and old school mixes. To younger fans discovering the feud in retrospect, it feels like mythological storytelling. The King of Atlanta versus the Freestyle King of Houston, caught in a turf war that was both lyrical and physical. Reddit threads continue to pop up asking, did Flip ever really recover from that beef? Some argue T.I. ruined Flip's career unfairly. Others claim Flip got what he asked for by challenging someone hungrier and more strategic. And then there's a third group that believes the entire beef was orchestrated not by the rappers, but by industry suits who wanted a Southern Civil War to push albums. The conspiracy theories haven't stopped either. Some believe Flip was blackballed by Atlanta-dominated execs. Others argue T.I. used Flip as a stepping stone to national fame and discarded him once the mission was complete. A popular fan theory even suggests that the infamous Cloverland footage was edited to make Flip look weak when, in reality, the encounter was far more chaotic than we ever saw. But regardless of where the truth lies, one thing is clear: the impact of the T.I. versus Lil Flip war remains undeniable. It wasn't just a rap beef, it was a cultural fault line, a defining moment in Southern hip-hop where egos clashed, cities chose sides, and the crown was up for grabs. It shaped how future artists handled competition, how fans viewed authenticity, and how the industry played politics. Even now, years later, in studios and street corners alike, fans still debate the core question. Was it T1 who solidified his place as one of the South's most respected voices? Or was it Flip, who despite everything never bowed, never folded, and kept his name alive in Houston streets and Southern mixtape history? Maybe there's no clear winner. Maybe the real story isn't about who won the crown, but what the crown cost both men. Or perhaps a brilliant reminder that in the South, royalty must be earned and defended.